back to Brandon Sports, everybody. Hope you're having an amazing day. I'm here to go over my Monday Night Raw review for January 12th, 2026. Before we get into the breakdown of the show, please hit the like button and subscribe button to the channel for more great content headed your way. My overall thoughts on the show was that, again, I didn't really like the show. I didn't like anything that really happened, except for about two things, but for the majority of it, it was just a boring waste of time. We're going to get into the breakdown of basically the entire show as we always do. But for me, this show is very boring. I know that we were in Dusseldorf, Germany. For a show that's coming on at 2:30 p.m., this show was not good at all. We had Michael Cole and Wade Barrett at commentary. I was wondering where was Corey Graves. Listen, I hear enough of Wade Barrett on SmackDown. It's a refresher to have Corey Graves on commentary. I don't know where he was, but he was definitely missed. No disrespect to Wade Barrett, but I do like Corey Graves on commentary with Michael Cole. Again, this show wasn't really that great. We'll go into the things that was good. There were like a couple things that were good, about 2-3 things maybe that were good, but the rest of the show was obviously boring as it was. Again, I don't like coming on here and complaining about the shows. I genuinely want the shows to be good, so these could be more of a fun review that I can have, but I'm going to tell like it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. This show, in my estimation, was just not a good show, especially being on at 2:30, being overseas with a hot crowd for most of the night. Basically, 95% of the night they were hot. There were certain spots where they weren't, but most of the time they were a hot crowd, and for me, this company didn't deliver with this show again, but we're going to go through it. The show kicks off with a recap of what went down last week. WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Io Sky and Rhea Ripley head to the ring to come out and make their entrance. Rhea welcomes everyone to Monday Night Raw, saying she and Io have been through a physical and mental war with the Kabuki Warriors and proved exactly where they stand. She declares that everyone is looking at the new Women's Tag Team Champions. Io thanks the crowd and says Asuka and Kairi show no respect, so they were forced to beat the respect out of them. She adds that no team in the tag team division is ready for what they bring. Rhea says the celebration is just getting started as they issue an open challenge to any tag team in the back. That's when Liv Morgan's music hits, and she steps onto the stage along with Roxanne Perez. Liv Morgan greets Io and Rhea Ripley and tells them they're looking great. She says she and Roxanne came out to offer their congratulations on winning the Women's Tag Team Championships last week, calling it a moment worth celebrating. Liv then encourages the crowd to cheer for the champion, saying it's so cool in her voice. Now, the first thing I thought was when she came out was they're really going to run back Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, this time in the tag team. They're really going to do this again after what we got last year on Netflix. I know you're going to say, well, she's been gone for over 6 months, so it's kind of new again. No, it's not. It's not new. I got tired of seeing it then with Rhea Ripley in the Judgment Day. I don't want to see it now. But we continue. But her tone quickly changes. Liv says the only issue she has is that those championships actually belong to her. She claims she is one half of the greatest women's tag team champions of all time, and she insists she never lost the title. Liv tells Io and Rhea they have two options: hand the titles over the easy way or deal with the hard way. That's when Laura Valkyria and Bayley head down to the ring. Bayley welcomes Liv back before breaking into her trademark crackle as the crowd chants along with Bayley with the Bayley song that they were chanting. She tells Liv that she might claim she never lost the titles. Her partner did. Bayley points out that she beat Roxanne a few weeks ago, so if anyone has earned a title opportunity, it's her and Lyra. Rhea cuts in and says they came out to issue a challenge to anyone who wants it. Io steps forward and says she's got this. Then she starts talking in Japanese. She starts screaming in Japanese. That sparks into chaos with Liv Morgan, Roxanne, Bayley, and Lyra all arguing at once. Suddenly, Asuka and Kairi Sane appear and pull Io and Rhea out of the ring. Rhea and Io slide back into the ring and zero in on Roxanne. Io rocks her with a sharp shawty. I don't know how you pronounce that. Rhea follows with a suplex, and then Io caps it off with a double drop kick. Basically, what this turned out into was basically Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez, Bayley and Lara Valkyria basically coming out and having a brawl. They all just came out and had a brawl. That was pretty much it. Again, it was predictable that they were going to start fighting once Io Sky started yelling in Japanese. It was just very, very predictable that they were just going to start fighting. Jackie Redmond is backstage with AJ Styles and asks about his match with Gunther and why it's become so personal. AJ says he realized this is all about respect. Respect for the ring, for your opponent, and for the people who paved the way. He admits he and John Cena don't always see eye to eye, but says they connected over that shared sense of respect. AJ says Gunther has shown none of that towards Cena, which is why he felt justified in slapping him. AJ promises he's going to teach Gunther what respect really means. He ends by saying he'll make Gunther tap out like a little BRTCH. That was a good backstage promo from AJ Styles, basically defending the honor of John Cena against Gunther. I had no problem with this backstage promo or why they're actually doing this. I think it's a little bit early, but again, I had no problem with this overall. I thought it was a good segment and a good promo from AJ Styles. So we get Liv Morgan backstage, and Finn Balor's playing WWE 2K. Liv asks Finn if he saw what they just did to earn a title match. Finn barely looks up, focused on a video game. Liv presses him, asking what is he doing and whether everything he said last week was just talk. She says they're done waiting around for their title opportunities and tells him he needs to stop playing video games. Roxanne backs her up, telling Finn that Liv has a point. Finn finally responds and says to just watch what he does next. I have no problem with this. Again, it's the Judgment Day. They're getting a lot of feature time on TV, even though I'm getting a little bit impatient with their storyline progressing. I know JD McDonough's not there, Dominic Mysterio's not there, so now it's just Finn Balor and Raquel Rodriguez. For some reason, she's not even back there with them. They don't even show her back there. They just show her running rampant on Raw, which again, I don't know why they're not playing into it. I don't know what they're doing with this storyline. I'll give it another week or two to see how it progresses, but not having Raquel Rodriguez backstage with them and feeding off of what she's doing against Stephanie Valkyrie, I don't know what that's about. I don't know if she even still part of the group. I mean, Liv Morgan mentioned that Raquel Rodriguez was taking her title opportunity, and so is Liv Morgan and Roxanne. She's doing the same thing. So by asking Finn that, basically get your foot on the ball and go get it rolling. Now, for me, I don't really care about Raquel Rodriguez and the women's world title scene again. I feel like they're holding back the women's world title scene by having all of their top stars in the tag team division. I think that's really, really bad booking and bad creative on the part of the company. But this was a good thing between Liv Morgan and Finn Balor, again, and motivating Finn Balor, even though last week Finn Balor literally just said that he was going to start doing this. So next up, we get Javon Evans versus Bravo Americano. We get to the end of the match. Evan meets him up there and counters with the Spanish Fly, then immediately follows with a double jump cutter to score the 3 count. The winner of this match is Javon Evans. The reason why I cut this off so short is because I don't care about nothing about this. Javon Evans is wasting his time. Right now, they're showing him in the ring because he just got called up. That's fine. He's obviously going to beat Bravo Americano, but my question is, and I would like for everybody to comment down below and participate in this, is why is Bravo Americano on my television screen? Why? I don't care about this. I don't care about Grande Americano. I don't care about the other Americano, a Grande, Bravo, and the other one, who's really Pete Dunne. I don't understand why the company is doing this to Ludwig Kaiser. What did he do to deserve this? It's Bravo Americano, Rayo Americano, and Grande. What is going? I do not understand for the life of me why they're doing this. This is boring. I don't understand this at all. Who cares about the Americanos? Keep that on AAA. We don't need that. I feel bad for Ludwig Kaiser. He's good without a mask. Pete Dunne is good without a mask. I have no idea who Bravo Americano is. Again, this company has no creative ideas, so they're going to sit here and resort to this type of foolishness. I just found out who Bravo Americano is. It's Tyler Bate. So you basically took the New Catch Republic and made them Rayo Americano and Bravo Americano. You took the New Catch Republic that was a good fighting wrestling tag team, even though they don't have no characters behind them, but they were a good wrestling tag team, and you used them to become a Grande Americanos or El Americanos, whatever they are. You're using that with Ludwig Kaiser, who's good on his own without the mask. Ever since Chad Gable got hurt, I don't understand why they didn't just abandon the character until Chad Gable got back. We all know it was Chad Gable with the back tattoo and everything else. I don't understand for the life of me why do they keep bringing this on television. This makes absolutely no sense. I don't get it. I don't care about it. It's dumb. Javon Evans is wasting his time. And there was a report out, which I'll get to it right this second because I actually bookmarked this report, that his contract signing, Javon Evans, that they wanted a viral moment. I said reported last week, but there was also a report that they see him as a star, but not as a franchise star. Are you kidding me right now? You haven't even given Javon Evans a chance yet. This is just ridiculous when it comes to this company and their booking. If you have nothing for him, let him go somewhere else. He's on Raw being bouncy. I have no problem with his gimmick, whatever. If he's bouncy, then he's bouncy. He's a high-flying dude. Do something creative and do something right with him. The fact that you have him coming up to the main roster, beefing with Americanos, makes no sense. We get Adam Pearce tells the referee that this is getting settled tonight. Paul Heyman approaches outside Adam Pearce's office and asks where Pearce is, only to realize he's already talking to him. Adam tells Paul he won't tolerate Braun causing chaos tonight and makes it clear that Braun is not welcome in the building. Paul responds by saying he'll pass the message along if Braun shows up with bad intentions. Now, my problem with this, I have no problem with Paul Heyman's part. Adam Pearce, are you going to kick everybody out of the building? This is just such laziness. Are you going to kick everybody out of the building? You want Raquel Rodriguez out of the building. You want Braun Breaker out of the building. Who's next? Brock Lesnar to come back and kick him out the building? I don't understand this. All Adam Pearce does is yell, kick people out of the building, and fine them. Instead of saying, you know what, you're fired and go to SmackDown. They never do anything positive with this dude. He's always yelling, which we'll get to him yelling at the later part of tonight. All he does is just yell. He yells at the heels and coddles babyface, which again, he's supposed to be unbiased, and I get it. But from a story perspective, who cares about Adam Pearce now? All he does is yell. If that's his character, switch it up a little bit. Nick Aldis, at least he's a little different. He's a little bit more calm and collected. I know it's different. Nick Aldis is calm and collected. He's this yeller. Fine. But every week does he have to yell? He's tired of it again. I don't care for it again. All Adam Pearce does is basically yell and fine people. Have him do something else. Be more creative with the character of your general manager. I don't understand. He just continuously yells, fine people, and kicks them out of the building when things are not going his way. And then after that, he ends it all by saying, I need a drink. It's getting tiresome. Change up his character. Which they already changed up his character from when he was dealing with Roman Reigns in the Bloodline, from a scared GM to now he's yelling at people. But now it's just getting repetitive. Yelling for over 2 years, just watching this guy yell, talking about, I need a drink. It's the same thing. Anyway, we get CM Punk is shown walking backstage, coming to the ring. We get Jey Uso makes his entrance down the aisle, playing to the crowd, doing his arm raise routine, basically doing the whole run it back thing. It's annoying now. I don't complain about Jey Uso a lot. I just complain about the whole run it back thing. Listen, I told you guys where this originated. This originated in Saudi Arabia after the pay-per-view, and he came out and they would just run it back. He ran it back literally, guys, 9 times. Go watch that video on YouTube of Jey Uso with the Saudi crowd, and he's just running it back over and over. He just continuously keep doing it over and over again, right? So now, by him doing it now for over a year, it just gets annoying now because of that point. Like, I watched him do this 9 times in one night and then do it for the rest of the time. People saying, oh, well, he did it. He started doing it on TV. No, he did it. He did it on a YouTube special for Monday Night Raw after the show was over. So basically, Jey Uso grabs the microphone and asks everybody what's up. He says he came out to send a message to the tag team division. This is basically a warning shot to the tag team division, which is good. I'm glad they got Jey Uso on the show to yeet and all that stuff like that. But if he wasn't on the main feed, there was really no point in him actually doing this. CM Punk makes his entrance and heads to the ring. CM Punk says he's never taken for granted the privilege of being their champion. He adds that his goal is simple: stay champion forever. With the long road to WrestleMania ahead, Punk notes that anything can happen, pointing to his friend Cody Rhodes as proof that even the best laid plans don't always work out. Punk says he believes he can accomplish anything with the fans behind him. He promises to be a fighting champion with the Royal Rumble Elimination Chamber standing between him and WrestleMania. The road to WrestleMania, he says, goes straight through him. After surviving his battle with Braun Breaker, Punk claims Braun is now firmly in the rearview mirror, and it's time for him to do champion stuff. Punk says he's ready for the next challenger. That's when Finn Balor music hits, and he heads to the ring. Finn and Punk circle each other in the ring. Now, before we get to that promo and breakdown, when Punk said basically he's going to be the fighting champion, he's going to do champion stuff, and he basically thanked the crowd. As soon as he did that, I knew somebody's coming out. Because you're not going to just wave off the crowd or say, thank you, whatever he said in the promo. And then now he just is going to go to the back, and that's just it. No, I knew somebody was going to come out. I didn't know it was going to be Finn Balor, but nonetheless, I knew somebody was going to come out. Again, I didn't know where he was going with the promo, but once he finished it, I was like, okay, basically this is setting up for somebody to come out. Finn says he's done waiting. He's not waiting for the Royal Rumble. He's not waiting for the Elimination Chamber, and he's not asking for a handout. Punk said there were challengers he wanted to test himself against, and Finn says he's right here. Punk fires back by saying he did mention Finn's name once on a long list of challengers, but that was 2 months ago. He asks where Finn's been since then. Punk says Finn's been playing video games, worrying about Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough, and shining Liv's boots. Punk says he's watched Finn get beat down at War Games and again last week. And now suddenly he thinks he's ready. Punk asks if a match with Finn would really be one-on-one, or would it be Finn plus the Judgment Day. He adds that he's already handled the numbers games once before. Punk then shifts his tone, saying he actually respects Finn and has always been a fan of his. He says he promised to be a fighting champion yesterday, and he's a fighting champion today, so he's going to head to the back, lace up his boots, and fight tonight. And the crowd starts cheering. Finn responds by saying timing is everything. He says he's not jumping a line to get to Punk. The line starts with him. He tells Punk not to worry about Dom or JD, but admits he won't be alone. Finn says he's watched Punk thrive with home field advantage in Chicago, but next week they'll be in Belfast. It will be Punk versus the Prince, and Finn promises there will be a new Irish world champion. Punk accepts. He apologized to the fans in Dusseldorf who were hoping to see the champion compete tonight. Then he adds that he wants to apologize in advance to the people of Belfast because he's going to put their countrymen down with the GTS. Now let's stop for a second and pause right there. Now, I had no problem with the back and forth in the promo between Finn Balor and CM Punk. My problem with this is together with what has Finn Balor done to earn a World Championship match when in singles competition he has not been lucky and he lost the tag team titles. Him and JD lost their titles. He has done nothing this entire time as a singles competitor. I know he's going to get a push. That's fine getting a push. But what's his story? How is he challenging and he hasn't had singles success in a long time? When was the last time Finn Balor won a singles match? When was the last time Finn Balor was featured as a single star in that role? Again, he has to step up because Dominic and JD are out. That's fine. But to go right for the world title? And again, there has to be something said for Dominic Mysterio not being on Raw with the IC title. Now, when Rhea Ripley got hurt, she had to vacate the title because then they wanted to put it on Becky and Liv or whatever that was. Dominic Mysterio, when was the last time he defended the IC Championship at Survivor Series? And he has not been on TV for the past couple weeks because he's been hurt. Why aren't they stripping him of the title? Let somebody else have that championship and let him get it back later. Or let him get it back at WrestleMania like he did last year. The IC title division is non-existent in this company. Why? Because Dominic is holding it, and for some reason they want him to continuously hold the title. It makes no sense. Vacate the title if he's hurt. He's out for 3 to 4 weeks. That's what? 3 to 4 weeks? If you count the time he got injured, like his last match, basically all the way until now, it's been what, 20 days already? 2-3 weeks already? I thought if you don't defend the title in 30 days, you get it stripped. If that's the case, why did they strip the title off of Rhea Ripley last year when she got hurt? And then she came back fast all of a sudden. It just doesn't make any sense why they continuously have all of these titles in the company, and then when they have these championships in the company, they don't do anything with them. The United States Championship on SmackDown, at least Carmelo Hayes is doing something. Where is the IC title? Where are the top stars for this show? I'm glad CM Punk, by the way. Salute to CM Punk for being on the show tonight. Because usual world champions who have a limited schedule don't even show up. Translation, Brock Lesnar. Or Roman Reigns, where he's a champion. Roman Reigns returns this week. He returns next week. That's all we got in 2022, 23, and 24. Roman Reigns returns. Roman Reigns returns. Roman Reigns returns. So at least CM Punk made the trip and he was there and being a world champion. That's fine. But what about everything else? Anyway, we get a video package that airs highlighting the rivalry between AJ Styles and Gunther. We get Kairi Sane and Asuka versus Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez versus Bayley and Lara Valkyria in a number one contender match. And by the way, now that this match is happening, as soon as they got into that brawl, it completely skipped my mind. And then after that, when they came back from the commercial break, just then, we're going to have a match for number one contendership, and all 3 of these teams are going to be involved. Again, I was like, can you possibly even be more predicting than this? It was so predictable that they did this. This made absolutely... I get it. You need filler. You need to put stuff on the show, but give me story. What's the story between these matches? Kairi Sane and Asuka just lost the titles last week, and they're already contending for another title again? You might as well give them an automatic rematch. Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. It should have been Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez versus Bayley and Lara Valkyria in a 2-on-2 match instead of a triple threat tag team match. Kairi Sane and Asuka just lost the titles. Does that not make... what kind of sense does that make? They just lost the championships. They just lost last week, January 5th, on the anniversary show for Netflix. They lost. And now they're back in for contention again? This makes no sense. It's the same thing with Finn Balor. At least they just had the titles. Finn Balor has done nothing. Again, it wasn't no problem with that promo or segment. But you don't have any stories for anybody. No stories at all. We get to the end of the match. The finish breaks down with everyone hitting big moves. Perez nails a pop rocks on Bayley, but Zayn breaks it up. Moments later, Liv catches Kairi Sane with the Oblivion and scores the pinfall. This was a good match overall for all 3 of these teams. Again, why is Kairi Sane always taking a pinfall? This just makes no sense. They continuously just badger her and just beat her down, as if she's nothing, as if she wasn't a tag team champion. Every single time Asuka and Kairi Sane lose, it's always Kairi Sane taking a pinfall. Why do we have to take Kairi Sane seriously if she's just going to continuously be pinned? This makes no sense. They did that for the tag title match, and they did it on SmackDown the week before the number one contenders matches. This makes absolutely no sense of why they continuously keep pinning Kairi Sane. I know she's the easy one to pin. Why didn't they pin Lara Valkyria? What is she doing? At least Kairi Sane was actually a champion. Lara Valkyria, what? They're not doing anything with Lara Valkyria. She's with Bayley, smacking Bayley around, even though they completely got out of that storyline of Bayley being mad at her. Now she's using Bayley's and her being psychotic as an advantage. whenever she's basically not winning or down, she smacks her and then all of a sudden she rages out back up. It's like, what's the point? What are they doing? The original story was that Lyle Valkyria told Bayley to leave her alone. After Bayley left her alone, she came back and was having all these different thoughts. After she had those different thoughts of what she was supposed to do, or what she wanted to do, or what she didn't want to do, then she started spiraling. Again, where is that story? They're still playing off it. Oh, they don't rate Baron or commentate. Oh, do they really trust each other? Then go back into the story. You're teasing it on commentary, but you're not actually doing the story. You're just having Lyle Valkyria smack her around and then say, ooh, she's fired up. This makes absolutely no sense. Again, why did they continue to keep pinning Kairi Sane if she was a champion? Even when she was a champion, they pinned her. This makes no sense. You're not supposed to pin a quote-unquote champion. And even if she lost the championship, they still just got done being champion, so then you pin her again instead of pinning Lyle Valkyria. Why couldn't Lara take the pin? This makes no sense. Again, Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan win the match, but all in all, we're getting another tag team title match. In this match, a little spoiler, this was announced for Saturday night's main event, that it's going to be Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez for the women's tag team title. At least they're actually doing something with the women's division. But again, too many superstars are in this tag division, and not enough is being focused on the women's world title scene. It's not. We get a backstage promo with Becky saying, she says it's only been 1 week since she wants to title back fair and square, and Maxine is already getting a rematch. She points out how long she had to wait for her own title opportunity, but she says she'll take the limit to turn it to lemonade. Becky says next week she'll prove she's the greatest in her home country. She tells Maxine to enjoy her time in the spotlight while it lasts because it ends next week. That's a good point by Becky Lynch. Who told this woman, Maxine Dupree, that she gets another title match? Again, what are we doing with these titles? What the WWE should do at WrestleMania is put Becky Lynch now, I'm just throwing stuff out now, against Julia and combine those championships and create a Women's European Championship. I keep saying that for everybody to understand. They don't need 2 mid-card belts because with the U.S. title, they're not doing anything significant. And with the Intercontinental Championship, they're not doing anything significant. Except for Maxine Dupree. Her time has come. They took the belt off of her. It's over. But now you want to run back a rematch. I thought we don't get automatic rematch clauses. What happened to that? Again, inconsistency in booking is why I get angry at watching these shows. Where is the story? The story between them. I don't need 6 matches between them. She won a title, get back to the back line, and that's it. What is the point? This made no sense again, and Becky Lynch in this entire promo, she made sense. I just won a title, and now I gotta fight the face championship again and put on the line. This is not like CM Punk and Finn Balor. CM Punk put his own championship on the line. Becky Lynch is not putting the title on the line. She's getting a rematch being granted to her. To Maxine Dupree. This made no sense. This makes no sense. Move on and go do something else. Where's Natty? Where's Natalya? Why did this company re-sign Natty and she's not here? So you re-signed her. Let me get this straight, because I saw Sean Ross Sapp saying this. Shout out to Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful. Sean Ross Sapp said that the WWE allegedly did not want Natalya, to compete in the Owen Hart tradition that they do in AEW. So they re-signed her to a nice deal. If you're not going to use her, and since TKO is so cheap that they don't want to have pyro, they don't want to welcome to the show how Vince McMahon used to do it, opening pyro, make the show actually feel like a good show to come on to or to watch, why did you keep her under contract? Why is she still with the company? Let her go do something else. Listen, Natty is one of the greatest women's wrestlers this business has ever seen. And she's so good that her and her husband, TJ, is training in the basically new dungeon. She's basically training up-and-coming wrestlers. That's how great Natalya is. And this company, even during Vince McMahon's initial ownership run for a long time, basically, but he did her wrong too. Had her farting segments with the great Khali, barely putting any championships on her because she's Bret Hart's niece. So she didn't get the push that she deserves. She's one of the greatest of all time, and she's not doing anything. Have her face Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. Build her back up. But don't have her come back as Natalya. Have her come back as Natty. And have her win the IC title. Or combine these championships with Julia and make it a new Women's European Championship and say, listen, the lineage comes together, and these are basically a unified championship, and basically both lineages will carry on after we create a new belt. What's the point of having 2 belts if you're not going to book and do it right? Have one less title. This makes no sense. Again, I get aggravated because, again, I love wrestling. I come on here and complain. I love this business. I love what this business did for me as a kid growing up. I love wrestling. I'm not on here just to complain. I only come on here and complain and want this to be better so that one day you might have kids. You might have grandkids. You never know. what's going to happen, and you want your kids or your grandkids or anybody else, your family or people who watch my videos to say, hey man, this was a great show. I'm glad I watched your review. This was a horrible show. I still liked your review. It made a lot of sense. The reason why I'm doing this, and the reason I come up here is because of my passion for the business. But the reason why I'm up here as well is because I want the next generation and the generation after that and the generation after that to be able to watch this and say it makes sense. And the storytelling is great. And wrestling is great again. 2024 was a good run, but 2025 has not been good, and 2026 has not started out great. Back-to-back shows have not been good. At least SmackDown, that first show that they did, was at least okay the first 3 hours and went by. It wasn't horrible. That was the best show that week because Raw was so terrible. Again, Maxine Dupree and Becky Lynch, it's over. They need to move on. Byron Saxton's in the eye with Javon Evans and asking him about his early time in WWE. I mean, he just got there. Evans says it's been wild, that this is official Raw and his first time in Europe. He says he's doing this for the fans and promises he won't let them down. He says he's going to keep going above and beyond. Everyone will soon learn that he really is bouncy. Again, I like Javon Evans a lot. He has a lot of charisma. I think he's going to be very, very good. Again, if the company doesn't see a franchise star with this guy, then what are you doing? He's 22 years old and is already better than half the roster. He's great at his age. All you have to do is continuously develop a character for him and be bouncy and merchandise that. Cut his promos. He's just an outgoing personality. Use that to your advantage. This is what you have him for. A young guy who's 22 years old, who's a high-flying wrestler, who's very, very good for his age. He should be your franchise moving forward. IC title run, US title run, tag team title runs if he wants to, and then when he's truly ready, he could go into a world title run. What is there not to like about Javon Evans? Bouncy. Backstage, we get Jackie Redmond talks with Maxine Dupree, Otis, and Tozawa. Lord have mercy. And Maxine's rematch next week. Maxine says she's not going to cry about it, which I don't know why she would cry about it. She admits she's disappointed. Oh, she would cry about it because she lost the title. But whatever. Too much of white meat babyface for me with that statement right there. She says she's disappointed, but says she's proven she belongs, which is true. She's been having good matches with Becky Lynch. She says she became champion because she believed in herself, and Otis and Tozawa can do the same. Maxine acknowledges how good Becky is, but claims Becky had to cheat to beat her, which is true. She promises that next week she'll be lock Becky in an ankle lock and break her ankle. Again, for what this was, I hope next week, let's get it over with. Let's just have Becky Lynch beat her and retain the title and move on and do something else important. Again, this feud has gone on too long. That's enough. Michael Cole's in the aisle and introduces Raquel Rodriguez. Cole says he is shocked by Raquel's actions toward Stephanie last week. Raquel says she remembers being told to smile and wait her turn. She says people change. She points out that Cole watched her get opportunity after opportunity taken away. And now he feels sorry for Stephanie. Raquel says she will get her a match with Stephanie, and when she becomes champion, people can feel sorry for Stephanie instead. Stephanie appears on the stage as security officials try to hold her back. Raquel starts walking away toward the back. Stephanie shouts that she is the champion and her ankle won't stop her, daring Raquel to come take the title. What do you guys think happened next? Raquel accepts the invitation, turns back, and blindsides Stephanie. She then targets Stephanie's injured ankle and smashes it with the title belt. So she used the title belt and basically smacked it on her ankle. Which, again, they're having Raquel Rodriguez be this big bad heel. Am I buying it? No, but it's a good presentation of Raquel Rodriguez. But at the same time, she lost the match with her and Nikki Bella, and they're running this back again. Stephanie Valkyrie's ankle looks bad, which is very, very hurt. I hope she doesn't have to vacate the title. I guess they're going to have her continuously get attacked until she feels better. But at one point, do we change up from this and get the match? Now, I know she's hurt. If she's hurt and can't compete, I know they want to take title for her. I wouldn't do it. But again, what are we doing here? Raquel Rodriguez, okay, was it fine? Am I going to complain about it? No, not too much, but she's injured, so she's going to keep attacking her? The one thing that was good about this segment was Adam Pearce didn't come out yelling and screaming, talking about get out my building, all this other stuff like that. At least he didn't do that. But otherwise, it was an okay segment. Again, I like Stephanie Valkyrie. I wish they would put more attention on the women's world title. Again, I like Raquel Rodriguez. She's growing into her own, but at the same time, do I care about this particular feud? No, I do not. It's no disrespect to these women, but I don't care at all about this feud. I want Stephanie Valkyrie to be in better feuds with better opponents. Again, her and Rhea Ripley, her and Io Sky, her and Natty. Where is Natty? Where is Natty Neidhart? Where is Natalya? You can have her come back being Natty and being a heel and build her up for weeks and weeks. Build her up until she faces Stephanie Valkyrie. Just do something. I know they're doing Brandon. They're doing something right now. But is it worth this? Is the orange basically worth the squeeze? Is this worth the squeeze to you guys? Is Raquel Rodriguez worth it in this iteration, especially if they're not going to give her the title after she continuously keeps attacking Stephanie Valkyrie. No. We move on. Jay is on the phone with Jimmy when Otis and Tozawa woke up. This made me angry. Otis brings up Jay warning to the tag team division and says he wants a shot. Jay tells them they're cool and that the message was meant for everyone else. Otis says he's serious and Tozawa nods along. Jay says he'll talk to Jimmy and get back to them. He repeats that this was just a warning shot and reminds them that stepping in the ring means going up against the best tag team in the game. First of all, what has Otis and Tozawa done to deserve a tag team title match? Again, y'all gonna say you complain about everything. Yes, story and booking. Again, the Attitude Era. The reason why people reminisce about the Attitude Era is because people say, well, the story. Some of the matches were awful in the Attitude Era if you guys go back and watch. But it was story after story after story and writing. Especially when Vince Russo was writing the Attitude Era. Where is the story in all of this? How the hell does Tozawa, who has done nothing, how does Otis, who has done nothing, come up to Jey Uso and have the mitigated gall to ask for a tag team title match and says that they're serious and trying to be serious when nobody takes this tag team serious? The last time we even gave an ounce about Otis is when he was with Chad Gable and Triple H did not pay that off. This makes no sense again. Why? Why? What are we doing? Why? This makes no sense at all. Lazy booking. The tag team divisions for both shows are horrible. The Wyatt Six is terrible. Jimmy and Jey Uso just got their titles and they haven't been on Raw since. They cut a promo last week that was garbage. And then this week Jey Uso came out, which I don't know if that made broadcast air or not. And basically sent the warning shot, bow, and that was it. Fine. And Jimmy's not even there. What are we doing? What are we doing? Unless he's at home with his wife, then that's fine. But other than that, what are we doing? How does Otis and Tozawa get a tag team title match? What have they done? They have not competed since November of 2024. I believe that I read that on Twitter. Like, what are we doing? Next up, we have Penta and Dragon Lee versus Austin Theory and Bronson Reed. Now, this is how far the vision has fallen, that they're having two guys who never team together. Penta and Dragon Lee. After Dragon Lee was just in a tag team with AJ Styles, which I'm glad AJ Styles is out of the tag team division. They have Penta and Dragon Lee versus Austin Theory and Bronson Reed. Have we fallen this far? Seth Rollins is gone, Roman Reigns is gone, Brock Lesnar is gone. This is just ridiculous. This is just, I just can't believe what we're doing with the vision. They put Penta with every single luchador except for his brother. Put Penta and Rey Fenix back together. This makes no sense. Why is he with Dragon Lee? I understand they both have masks. I understand that they're both luchadors, but come on, man. Why isn't Rey Fenix on Raw with his brother reuniting to take on the Usos for the World Tag Team title match at WrestleMania? That's the match that we all need to see, unless Penta goes to SmackDown and teams with his brother and they win the WWE Tag Team titles and go from there and run SmackDown and have the Usos run Raw. I don't get this. This makes no sense again. Penta is much better than this, but now we have him and Dragon Lee versus Austin Theory and Bronson Reed. We skipped to the end of this match. It was a good back and forth. Again, we did not need this. Again, this is filler because this company does not know how to book a damn thing. They knock Reed to the floor and super kick Logan Paul off the apron. Lee then flies with a flip dive onto Theory and Logan Paul because Logan Paul got involved too. Suddenly, Braun Breaker spears Dragon Lee in the aisle, forcing the referee to call for the bell. This was a nice spear. I'm not going to lie. Dragon Lee got speared. Looked like he both got speared out of his boots, even though he didn't. I'm just being facetious. But Braun Breaker did spear him really, really hard in the aisle. He turned around and speared him. As soon as I heard the crowd barking, I'm like, oh, okay, he's about to get speared. Then he got speared. After that, Penta invites Braun Breaker in the ring. After he invites to the ring, Penta goes for a clothesline. Braun Breaker ducks. He basically goes against the rope and basically spears Penta very hard. Again, it was a nice spear. He starts flexing his muscle. He's very hyped up, which I actually like when Braun Breaker just starts spearing people. So after the match, Braun spears Penta as well. Braun sets up for another wild spear. He's about to hit Dragon Lee outside of the ring, like when he runs around the ring and does a spear, which I actually like when he does that. He hasn't done that in a while, but I actually like when he does that. So he's getting ready to do it, but Adam Pearce runs out and stops him, telling him not tonight. As Pearce deals with Braun, Bronson Reed climbs to the top rope and does a tsunami. As soon as he does a tsunami, Adam Pearce just goes like this. Like he's shocked, but he looks over to the ring and he just jumps to the ring and stops Bronson Reed from doing the tsunami. That was actually nice. That was a nice touch on the camera angle to see him arguing back and forth with Braun Breaker, and then they do a tsunami. That was actually a really good thing that they did in the match. After the match, Pearce after that starts arguing with Bronson Reed, and Braun responds by spearing Dragon Lee again. This is actually funny to me. I laugh because this was funny to me. Reed pulls him up. After that, Braun gets in Pearce's face because what happened was Adam Pearce took Braun Breaker and turned him around. Like, basically shoved him around and said, hey, man, well, I tell you, not tonight. They got face-to-face, whatever. And then after that, Braun Breaker grabs Pierce in his face and asks him, what is he going to do about it? When Paul pleads for forgiveness, Braun ends up telling Pierce to kiss his ass. I thought this was a nice touch with Braun Breaker and Adam Pierce. He basically got in his face. He grabbed him first. He got in his face. After he starts grabbing him, he pushes him into the corner, and everybody's like, ooh, you know, whatever the case may be. So after that happens, we get a backstage segment with Dragon Lee and Pinto in the training room, when Javon Evans stops by to check on him, ask him if they were good and give them a pep talk, even though that was not needed because he just got jazz whooped. After that, backstage, Braun Breaker is walking when Adam Pierce confronts him, and he's just yelling in his face. He's yelling his so bad. Somebody should have just gave him a drink of water before he came in the back, because I don't know if he could talk or not, but man, I don't know what was going on, but he was spitting all over himself, which made it for a great spot. But he's just spitting. He's spitting all over himself. And I'm just like, yo, Adam Pierce, man, calm down and catch your breath and cut the promo. But man, he's just spitting all over himself. I'm like, yo, what are we doing? But he's walking, so he confronts Adam Pierce confronts Braun Breaker, says they're not done. Pierce tells Braun he doesn't have to listen anymore. I'm sorry, he hasn't been listening to anyone. He's crossing the line by putting his hands on the boss. Has consequences. Pierce announces that Braun Breaker is suspended indefinitely. This is where we hold up and say timeout. Again with the Adam Pierce character, this actually showed Adam Pierce has some more. Now, he was yelling. I told you guys, I don't like his yelling. I don't like him when he continuously yelling all the time. But by him getting angry like this, actually spitting in his face, it did it did look nice. Because when he got in Paul Heyman's face, started talking, and Paul Heyman took his hand and wiped his face, I was like, yo, I'm surprised Adam Pierce did not break character. Because it's like, dude, you're spitting all over Paul Heyman's face, and he just wipes his face. I'm like, yo, it's just so funny when he just spit in his face. But he didn't do it on purpose, but he's talking so angrily that he's spitting in this guy's face. And when Paul Heyman wiped his face, I didn't laugh out loud, but I just laughed inside to myself. And I'm laughing now, but just thinking back on the actual segment, that was hilarious when Paul Heyman wiped his face. But he suspended him indefinitely. This is the problem that I have with him suspending him indefinitely. We always get it as a definite suspension. We always get a fine, and somebody's getting suspended. I forgot who got suspended a couple months ago. Was it Drew McIntyre on SmackDown? He got suspended by Nick Aldis. So it's just like, people just continues to get suspended and fined. There's really no consequence, because after they get suspended, they come back in like 2 or 3 weeks. Braun storms off. Paul Heyman steps in, and Paul tells Pierce he just made a huge mistake. Pierce fires back that Braun is the one who made a mistake. Paul calmly responds that it wasn't Braun who made the big mistake. Pierce was the one who put his hands on Braun first, and the crowd goes, ooh. And I'm sitting like, what are you going ooh for? He put his hands on me, he turned them around, but like, to me, that didn't mean that, oh, you put hands on him first, so now, Wade Barrett, oh, it's great to have Paul Heyman in your corner. Let me just tell you where this is probably going to go. One of two things. Braun Breaker's going to show up next week and wreak havoc again, or you're going to have Paul Heyman they're probably going to have a backstage segment or a segment in the ring with Paul Heyman being an advocate and getting attorneys involved to basically overturn him being suspended indefinitely. One of the two. And if they don't do one of the two, I'll be shocked. But this will be Paul Heyman working his I'm an advocate back. I'm the Oracle, but he's really an advocate. Trickery to get Braun Breaker back on the show by doing legal ramifications. I kind of see through it already, but I'll give it a chance. We'll see where it goes. But I had no problem with this backstage segment. Again, I do have a problem with Adam Pearce continuously yelling. However, this was actually good. This part of it, when he's spitting, he's so mad that slob is coming out of his mouth and landing on his suit jacket. I'm like, okay, I'm just laughing because Paul Heyman just wiping the spit off his face. I mean, that part was hilarious. So we get a match card for next week. Next week is Raw's airing at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Becky Lynch will defend the Women's Intercontinental Championship against Maxine Dupree. CM Punk will also put his World Heavyweight Championship on the line against Finn Balor. A video package is played highlighting Obafembe. Obafembe is making his way up to the Raw roster. I think he's going to start on Raw. I think they're going to put him on SmackDown. I think Raw will be good for him at this particular spot. Backstage, Jackie Redmond's with Gunther. Gunther says AJ Styles crossed the line because Jackie Redmond tries to ask him a question. We basically cut Jackie Redmond off like he does everybody else. Gunther says AJ Styles crossed the line by slapping him. He calls it disrespectful, especially considering he's the man who made John Cena tap out like a little bitch. I'm going to get to that in a second. Gunther says if he could do that to the so-called greatest of all time, AJ should be very concerned about what's coming for him and that the fact that he's the best wrestler in the company. Basically, after that, we have AJ Styles versus Gunther as our main event. Before we get to the main event and get to the ending and about the match, My problem with this backstage promo is now when every time Gunther cuts a promo with either Jackie Redmond or somebody backstage, he starts laughing. Now, he's supposed to be a good heel. See, a good heel in the company is Drew McIntyre. When Gunther starts laughing, I'm sitting there like, are we really turning Gunther into a comedy act, or is he actually going to be just a awful, menacing heel? We get that with Drew McIntyre, but not with Gunther. It's like now, okay, I get it. The first 2 weeks, I tapped out John Cena. He's a little bitch. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But now we're getting into it. Let's roll it out. To me, he's not as mean as he should be. A lot of the heat that he has is starting to wear off. Again, I like Gunther. He's tall, he has a nice presentation, but he needs to be a more evil heel. And that's why I think they're not playing into that. He's laughing and being comedic, and I make John Cena tap out like a little bitch. He's getting the word across, fine. But make him mean and then talk. I think this is what his first match since he faced John Cena. Not even the first match, but for whatever this was as a match, it was a good match overall, but him being a menacing heel is what we need for his character to be. Drew McIntyre is a menacing heel on SmackDown. He needs to be a menacing heel on Raw. We get AJ Styles versus Gunther. Now, this was a good back and forth between AJ Styles and Gunther. There was a lot of chops in this match. Powerbomb. AJ Styles really looked good in this match. I'm glad he's out of that tag team division with Dragon Lee. Again, we get to a controversial part in the match where AJ has Gunther. He applies the calf crusher. AJ lets go and assists Gunther tapped out. This controversial spot about him tapping out. He has him in the calf crusher. He rolls out of it and then rolls him back in far away from the ropes. Gunther taps out on his left side with his left hand. The referee can't see it. So AJ Styles insists that Gunther tapped out. He wants the referee to grab the referee. He says, hey, the match is over, basically. But the referee says he didn't see it and tells AJ Styles the match is still on. As referee turns to speak to Alicia Taylor, Gunther takes advantage and hits AJ Styles with a low blow, then follows up with a powerbomb to get the 3 count. The winner of this match was Gunther. Now, let's go back in time, shall we? Do you guys remember when it was Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker at SummerSlam? What was it, 2015? Wow, long time ago, right? 2015, Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker at SummerSlam. And at that SummerSlam, Brock Lesnar and Undertaker was having a match. It was a good match at SummerSlam in 2015. And I remember Brock Lesnar put Undertaker in a Kimura lock. And the referee's on the other side. And Undertaker taps out. Undertaker starts tapping out fast. The referee rings the bell because they see it on the camera. So the referee rings the bell. And the referee rings the bell. And Charles Robinson, referee, says, hey, I didn't ring the bell. Restart the match. And what does The Undertaker do to Brock Lesnar when he's turned around with his arms lifted? He low blows him. He puts him in his submission hold. And Brock Lesnar flicks off The Undertaker and basically passes out, and The Undertaker wins in a controversial way. They did the same exact thing as soon as AJ Styles got up and said that he tapped out Gunther and the referee didn't see it. The immediate reaction I had was Undertaker, Brock Lesnar, 2015 SummerSlam. And when I saw that, I said, okay, a lot of people had a problem with it. I had a problem with it initially when it first happened, but then as soon as he stood up and as soon as he low blowed him, I was like, oh, they're repeating Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker. Okay, I got no problem with it. Fine. Anyway, so Gunther hits, again, AJ Styles with a powerbomb for him to win, and the show is basically over after that. They continuously keep replaying this. They keep replaying the fact that Gunther was patting AJ Styles on his side, basically tapping out. As the referee wasn't aware of the situation, as Gunther heads to the back, he's shown watching the replays of his actions and offering comments on what happened. He says he's the best wrestler, screaming into the microphone, and AJ Styles just looking up in disbelief. So after that was over the match, basically the show went off the air again. This is a good match between them. Again, a lot of people are not going to like the outcome. Listen, it did what it did. It protected Gunther. He was not going to lose. There was no disqualification. Again, they ran back the Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar thing, which it hasn't been used in, you would say, going into 11 years now. So if they're going to use it again, this is the perfect time for them to use it again. It does kind of make Gunther look weak a little bit that he did tap out, but realistically, did it make The Undertaker look weak? No, even though this is not a comparison between Undertaker and Gunther, because there is no comparison. But again, this is basically the outcome that they could have done, was have him tap out, even though I didn't really like tapping, but I get it. I get it for what it was. I get it for the reasons that they did it, was basically to protect Gunther and have him still beat AJ Styles. Even though I kind of would have waited for this match to happen on AJ Styles' retirement tour. Hopefully he actually gets a retirement tour, but all in all, I had no problem with the match. Kind of slow in my opinion, but then it started to pick up towards the end. Again, Gunther wins the match and beats AJ Styles. Again, overall, this show to me was not good. Besides me laughing at Adam Pearce spitting in Paul Heyman's face, not purposefully, but getting spit in his face nonetheless, and Finn Balor and CM Punk inside that ring, which again, Finn Balor, he didn't earn a world title shot, but it is what it is. Those are only two really good things that I saw from this show tonight. Other than that, I didn't care about the tag team division. I did not care about the Vision tonight and what was going on when they were facing Dragon Lee and Penta. Again, overall, a lot of this show did not make any sense. Creatively wise, there is no creative. Again, they're just going overseas, going over there to make money and to come back into the States by WrestleMania time and do it all over again. Just the same thing they did last year. But at least we had John Cena and Cody Rhodes last year overseas. But again, this show was not good at all. I'm not saying it was horrible. Well, it was horrible to me. I'm not going to sugarcoat it at all. This show was terrible. There were two good things for me. Again, Finn Balor and CM Punk had a nice back and forth, but Finn Balor didn't earn it, so the storyline logic didn't make any sense. And Adam Pearce continuously yelling all the time. Again, it's nauseating, but his segment with Braun Breaker, it was at least worth it for that particular point. Other than that, again, they need to do something with their tag team division. The World Tag Team division with Jimmy and Jey Uso now. They need to do something with the Y6 on SmackDown. They need to do something with the IC title on Raw. That Dominic Mysterio is not there. The only intriguing storylines that we have is going into the Royal Rumble is what is Cody Rhodes going to do? When is Roman Reigns coming back? When's Brock Lesnar coming back? And what are they going to do at the Royal Rumble? Again, the World Heavyweight title right now, CM Punk is there, so he's making it feel important. Carmelo Hayes is trying his best on SmackDown to make the U.S. title important. And those are the titles to me that are pretty much it. Jade Cargill's not doing anything with WWE Women's Championship. Stephanie Valkyrie is being attacked every single week with the Women's World title, even though they're trying to make something interesting, even though it's not interesting to me. Both tag team divisions are terrible. The IC title is terrible. The Women's United States Championship division is terrible right now. The Women's IC title with Becky Lynch has been good, but with Maxine Dupree, I'm tired of it. The only good thing that's happening right now is CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, and that's pretty much it for the titles in the company and storylines. CM Punk versus Finn Balor, which doesn't make any sense, and Drew McIntyre because we don't know what's going to happen on SmackDown this upcoming week. But again, this show is not good. Storylines has been lacking. The company, to me, right now, is creatively bankrupt. Again, I think that now, instead of waiting for January 5th to actually kick off the road to the Royal Rumble, now we're just not going to get anything nice, and then we have to wait until the Royal Rumble to see what happens. Because they wait until the big shows to see anything. Again, I don't know why TKO is in the wrestling business. I complain every single week. I'm not going to continuously complain now. Again, that was my Raw review. I hope you enjoyed my Raw review. If you disagree with anything I had, let me know in the comment section down below how you guys felt about Raw being this early. It's actually good to have Raw be this early to do this review with you guys. But let me know in the comment section down below how you guys felt about Raw. What was your overall thoughts and opinions about the show? Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button to the channel for more great content coming up. Until next time, guys, see you real soon.